Well, hello there, beautiful. Welcome to Dr. Sarah's Café. This is your weekly refill where we savor the flavor of the week as we refill our spiritual cups. The flavor of the week is a unique specialty blend of astrology, tarot cards, oracle cards, intuition, and creativity, okay? So let's jump into the flavor of the week for us. We have Spellcaster. Ooh. As our original high priestess once said, I put a spell on you. I don't know if she's the original author of that song, but her version is the one I'm most familiar with, okay? And so we think about casting spells. A lot of it has to do with that astrology of Mercury, okay? So last week we had the sun making these significant aspects, and then we had Venus making these significant aspects. So we have each of these major personal planets going through the end of the sign of Virgo and making these trines, oppositions, and trines to the planets of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, respectively, okay? So if you look back at the past couple of weeks, you see that Venus did her dance with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, and then moved into Libra, from Virgo into Libra. And then the sun followed up right alongside of her and said, hey, I'm also going to make my trine, opposition, and trine to Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, and then step on into Libra. And now it's Mercury's turn. Mercury, the planet of words, thoughts, ideas, communication, commerce, exchange, organization of things, and messages, right? Also transitions, being in liminal states, going from one place to the other, travel, movement, all these beautiful things that I, as a Gemini who's ruled by Mercury, really, really enjoy, okay? As always, we start with the Astro Ingredients. And I mentioned that it's all about Mercury this week, all about Mercury. So on the 24th through the 25th, Mercury is hitting those major planets just like the sun and Venus did. It's going to trine Uranus, which is currently in the sign of Taurus. It's going to oppose Neptune in the sign of Pisces, and then it's going to trine Pluto and Capricorn. And so if you've been following along over these weeks and you remember what I've been saying about Venus and the sun making those exact same aspects and then stepping over the threshold into Libra, then you know that those outer planets, those societal, those social planets, those intergenerational planets are all about the big ideas, all about the big picture, the bigger vision, the deeper meanings, right? And they touch less on our day-to-day mechanisms and our day-to-day logistics, our day-to-day routines, and they speak more to larger patterns, larger cycles, deeper knowings and understandings about ourselves, about humanity, about our connection to divine, right? Not just our connection to divine, but our own aspect that is divine within us. And so Mercury, with the planet of communication, it's a perfect time to think more about these things. It's a perfect time to explicitly take time to reflect, think about, cogitate on them, ruminate on them, think about them in your journal, look at books and articles, listen to podcasts that talk about spiritual things, that talk about future-oriented goals and future technology and astronomy and astrology, and also have these conversations. And maybe you write something, maybe you write an article, or even if it's just a letter to someone explaining your spiritual path up until this point, right? Are communicating that story for the people around you, the people in your life. And then Mercury moving into the sign of Libra, it just enhances communication with other people. Remember, Libra is the sign of partnership, the sign of our one-to-one relationships with folks. And so I'm excited that Mercury is moving into Libra because it could benefit us in terms of having clear, honest, truthful communication with people in our lives, people that we encounter in various aspects of our life, okay? And this image here, so I usually am intentional about everything that goes into these presentations. And so this background image is a stone, one of my favorite stones, and I have my own version of it here. Let's see if I can show it to you. I have a very small version of this stone here. It's on the lighter side of the spectrum of that stone, and it's called blue lace agate, right? And I want to read to you the meaning of blue lace agate, right? The metaphysical properties of blue lace agate, and show you why it's perfect for Mercury. And it's perfect for Mercury making these important, significant aspects to the major outer planets, the planets that deal with higher purpose, larger cycles, right? So I'm reading from crystalcouncil.com. The crystalcouncil.com for blue lace agate says, it's all about communication skills. So that right there is Mercury all day, every day. It's all about communication skills and how to make your voice heard. Our throat chakra becomes activated and our voice immediately becomes stronger when working with or carrying this stone. The agate variety provides inner strength that can renew one's confidence and bring about clarity within. This renewed, confident voice is here to serve you in speaking your truth without using harmful tones. One will not get overwhelmed with emotions when talking about difficult subjects, and your inner intuition will help with providing the correct words in the context you wish them to be seen in. Aside from aiding in confrontation or uncomfortable situations, the confidence boosting properties of blue lace agate provides is perfect for job interviews, public speaking, or even any type of therapy sessions. So you can see with this focus on communication and the power of communication, especially Mercury trining Pluto, the planet of power, meeting with the planet of communication. This is a stone that you might consider tapping into, holding it, right? At most crystal shops, you can find blue lace agate, and it comes in a very small stones like this, so it can be pretty affordable too for a lot of people. But as you're leveraging this astrological or cosmic energy of Mercury making these powerful aspects with these outer planets, you might also enhance or set the intention with an additional element or tool or resource like blue lace agate, okay? And also it's just very beautiful. Like if you can find a version of blue lace agate that's more like this image, then, let me know where you got it from, because I might upgrade the stone that I have here. All right, the tarot ingredients. Yes, we're using the Hoodoo Tarot deck again. So I've been trying to stick with particular decks for an entire month. And so the Hoodoo Tarot deck by Tiana Lee McCullar, I think is how you say her last name. And that's the cover there. So this week we have the Three of Sticks, And in the book, each of the tarot cards is associated with a plant. And the plant for the Three of Sticks is kudzu. Now, I remember learning about kudzu when I was in school and college in Mississippi, and learning that, or actually, it wasn't when I was in college in Mississippi, it's when I was in middle school, I think, and taking Louisiana history and learning about kudzu. At some point in my either junior high school, or college education, I remember learning about kudzu as being this fast growing invasive plant, right? Quote unquote invasive, meaning that when kudzu started to grow, it would just like take over the land. It would just take over the landscape, outgrow everything, overgrow everything. And to me, that speaks to Mercury as well. The expansion of words, thoughts, ideas, communication, and the spread of those things. And that's what the Three of Sticks means. The Three of Wands, the Three of Staves, it might be called in other decks. The Three of Sticks is about expansion, expanding our mind, right? And I think about one of the core reasons I created the Brew Crew is for people who are seeking a community in which to expand their horizons. And I said before, to explore our inner horizons and explore our outer horizons, right? People who think that there's more, right, out there, that there's more within us, there's more connection to be discovered, right? And so this Three of Wands, I think with Mercury trining planets like Neptune and Uranus and Pluto, it's very visionary. It's very much about what's out there on the horizon, right? What's still yet to come. Again, thinking about avant-garde, especially with that Uranus energy. And what's my role, my participation in that? And so the Three of Wands is not just saying like, oh, let me look out and see what other people are doing or see what fate decides to, plop into my lap. But what is my role in co-creating that future vision, and what action steps and momentum am I willing to take towards creating that vision, right? All right, the Oracle Tea Leaves message comes from the African Goddess Rising deck again, and that's by Abiola Abrams. And the card we have is Miracles. Miracles. And I love this image so much. I love the green. I love the greenery. It just is a beautiful card. All of her cards are stunning and so bright and vibrant, okay? You can get your own deck via the bookshop.org link that I have in the caption. But I'm going to share the meaning of this card with you all. It says, Ayazan's guidance. You are a magnet for miracles. You are a miracle. What if you truly allowed yourself to believe? All things are possible. Dare to dream bigger. Okay, so dare to dream bigger reminds me of that Three of Wands energy. Again, the expansiveness, like broaden your horizons and broaden your vision, your idea of what the possibilities of the future could be. Embodiment of this energy, you claim you want miracles, but you take an I'll believe it when I see it approach. What if you will see it after you believe it? Believe that you deserve to be, do, and have the world you want for yourself. You can be your true self, do what awakens your soul, and have your desires. This is life's miracle. I feel called to repeat that. You can be your true self, do what awakens your soul, and have your desires. This is life's miracle. If you haven't witnessed your miracle yet today, ask for it and allow it in. So this sentence reminds me that there are small everyday miracles around us. And so we can cultivate a practice of actively seeking the miracle in each day. In the Goddess Declaration, my life is full of miracles. Okay. I love this for us. I love this for us. And so this is really supportive of that Uranus energy and that Neptune energy in particular I'm feeling, with Mercury making these aspects and then moving into the sign of Libra. Uranus is the sign of surprises. And so if we think about miracles as sometimes, in some instances, being a pleasant surprise, right? And saying, this was a pleasant, unexpected synchronicity, then we can actively look for those things. The pastry and poetry. So we have a cinnamon roll here, and I've been loving these sort of artistic drawings, watercolor renderings of the pastries, and this cinnamon roll looks especially buttery and delicious and soft. Let me know if there's a pastry that you love that you haven't seen featured in the weekly refills yet. Let me know in the comments, and I'll consider including it as a featured pastry for one of these weeks. So this quote comes from Deepak Chopra. However, I remember hearing this concept first by Dick Gregory in a reel, I believe. So it was harder to track down that Dick Gregory quote. And so I went with this Deepak Chopra version of it. Okay. And so it says, every cell of our being is constantly listening in on the dialogue in our minds. And this is really where the spellcaster flavor comes to a peak with all of these energies that we have. So Mercury, the planet of communication, spells, you might have heard the phrase, your words are spells. Your words are spells. And Mercury, being the planet of words, being heavily activated this week by three major planets, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, like deep, profound meaning and significance in the larger cycles of our life and society, making these strong, intense aspects with the planet of words and communication. To me, it speaks of our words and their power being that much more heightened, amplifying the power of our spoken spells and even the words that we only think but don't necessarily say. And so we have to be really, really mindful of the power of words, whether we're only thinking them or we actually write them down or we speak them out loud with our vocal muscles, right? What impact do we want our words to have? And so using the blue lace agate, we can use our words for healing for sure. We can use the support of having the hard, difficult, uncomfortable conversations that are going to lead to and support healing and transformation, right? Or we can use words to speak life and to encourage people and bring about a greater sense of collaboration and harmony, and use our words to co-create a piece of art or a song or music or a building or a landscape. And so really tapping into even the small changes within ourselves, the small changes in our health even. I mentioned in a previous week about the experimentation with water, and apparently you can also do this experimentation with a jar of rice. So you take the jar of rice and you put negative, mean, hateful words in one jar, and then you take another jar of rice and you put loving, affirming, uplifting, encouraging words on that jar, and you look at the rice in a couple of days. And according to the experiment, documentations of the experiments that I've seen, the jar with the negative words gets really, really moldy and goes bad really fast. And the jar with the loving words doesn't get moldy, doesn't develop that level of mold, right? And so it's an experiment. You can try to replicate it yourself. That's what they say. And research is like, is this replicable? But also the principle behind it, just like with the water and the words impacting the shape of the crystals in the water. Words are spells. And so we are all spell casters, and we can choose to remain unintentional and unconscious about the spells that we're casting, or we can choose to be mindful, intentional, very thoughtful and careful, and knowing about the power of our words, and choose to cast only the spells that we truly wish to come true, okay, for ourselves and for others. And that brings me to our to-go, or our takeaway. I communicate with full awareness of the power of my thoughts and words. I communicate with full awareness of the power of my thoughts and words. Remember, my dear, you are a spellcaster. And so reminding yourself of that power before you speak, even in the moments when you catch yourself thinking something, remind yourself, hey, what spell am I casting? And is it actually a spell I want to be casting in this moment? And with that, my dears, I pray and hope that this session, this weekly refill, has helped you to refill your spiritual cup. Be sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope to see you in another one. Take care.